Kia ora, good evening, and welcome to the 95th episode of the Huddy Hui. It's fantastic to be with you again this Wednesday, and how important is it that the best rugby competition in New Zealand starts soon, the Bunnings NPC competition. So really looking forward to that. And of course, our guest is recently been named as at the start of this week in the Wellington Lions NPC team. Ethan Webster-Nonu is our guest on the Huddy Hui tonight. Ethan, fantastic on coming on the Hui, and also well done on making the Wellington Lions team for the NPC. How did you find out?
Cheers. I kind of got caught in maybe a month before the actual season started, so we went into pre-season training and that. And I was originally named in as injury cover, so yeah, I'm pretty grateful just to be there in the environment. So, yeah, it's good.
Now, of course, last weekend the team went out to Taranaki, to Manahia. How was that weekend away? Because I believe it was a good weekend away together as a group.
Yeah, it was. So we spent the night at a marae in South Taranaki, and yeah, I think it was good. All the boys getting around. I think it was our first time playing with each other, most of us. So it was good to get some connection with the boys there. So yeah.
And how was that game against Taranaki? It sounded like they were pretty full strength, and you guys were trying out a few things.
Yeah, I'd say we were trying a few combinations and whatnot, but yeah, they looked like a strong side. It was probably my first experience at the NPC level and at that speed, and yeah, I was blowing a bit out of the lungs. I don't know if the lungs were ready, but it was good experience. Good experience.
Now, your debut was for the Wellington Lions was in the Ranfurly Shield match against Horowhenua Kapiti in Levin 3 weeks ago. How was your performance, and what was the feeling like when you went to put on the Lions jersey for the first time?
Yeah, it was unreal. I think ever since I could remember, I've always wanted to play for the Lions. It's always been a dream of mine, and it was a bit surreal putting on the jersey for the first time. And yeah, I felt like I went all right. Blew my hamstring in the first half, but it was still a good experience here.
And how serious was your hamstring that you did in that game?
It wasn't too bad. I think it was a grade 1, but ended up coming back for the Jubilee final, so it kind of worked out, I think.
Yeah, that's all good. At least you were able to bounce back to play the final. You had that semi-final against Old Boys University. A pretty enlightening game, particularly Caleb Delaney playing that day for Old Boys University for one half. You must have been pretty nervous and disappointed not to be out there for that semi-final.
Yeah, it was actually really nerve-wracking, especially how close the score was. I think there was a few boys that were out, me, Joe, and Luke. And yeah, we were just sitting on the sideline, nail-biter. But yeah, the boys got it done, so that's all that matters.
Now let's head back to the Lions, the squad for 2023. Let's talk about some of the new players in the team and the return of some of the veterans from previous years.
Yeah, I think we got a lot of experience for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of players that have been there for multiple years now, and yeah, they're really good, really professional, always helping out all the young players. Yeah, giving us a lot of pointers, and just makes the day go by easier.
Brad Shields, how important is to have him back in the capital playing for the Lions?
Oh yeah, it's unreal. Like the amount of experience he's had playing professional rugby, it's main. He knows so much about the game, and he's just a workhorse. So.
Tamati Elson is the new Lions coach for 2023. Previously, the assistant coach has been involved with the Crusaders. Let's talk about his influence on the Lions team. How have you found him as the coach of the Lions so far?
Oh yeah, he's an unreal coach. You know, another person with so much experience in the professional sport. He's also like a really good guy, easy to talk to, easy to approach, especially when it comes to feedback and that. Yeah, he's really easy to talk to, and he's always happy to give us help and pointers when it comes to the game.
Is he in charge of the back line, or is Trent Renata in charge of the backs?
Yeah, a bit of both. They both have input in our backs, but yeah, Trent would I would say is he has a lot of input in our backline strikes and yeah, pretty much the structure of our backline really.
And how do you find the new facilities out there at Trentford at the NZCIS? It's a bit different from your days out at Rugby League Park at the academy there.
Oh, definitely. It's so flash, so big. I think the first week or so that I was there, I got lost a bit. I had to ask the boys to give me some directions because yeah, I didn't know where I was going at some times there.
Now you might be hearing a bit of ricochet on the roof there, Ethan. That's a hailstorm happening here. It's hailing here at the
right.
studio. So if you're hearing all that banging, that's
no,
actually hail.
Right.
Let's go to Parramatta-Plimmerton. What a season.
Yep.
Only 2 losses. Pretty magical times for the Parramatta-Plimmerton club. How did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was unreal. I think the supporters and that they were just happy to be out there. Good community. Win or lose, they always had our backs. So no, it was good.
Now hopefully you can still hear us. This hailstorm is pretty intense. Let's hope it passes soon.
No, you're right.
Oh, that's a bit quieter now. There we go.
Yeah.
Jeez, you think we're outside. Anyway, Parramatta-Plimmerton. Some of the key players there. It's a club that's been through some tough times. But Gerard Vosavalu has done extreme wonders out there. Tell us about him.
Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah, gee, he's the man. Another coach that's so easy to talk to. Really approachable and just a good guy overall. And again, he knows so much about the game too. So it was really mean just learning from him this year and just taking it all in.
Now, only 2 losses this season. The first round of Swindell, and then the Jubilee Cup final. How tough was that to not win the final? And what are some of the learnings that the team learned from that?
Yeah, it was pretty tough to go out like that. I think after a big season, the boys were really looking forward to bring that home, but it just wasn't meant to be. But yeah, I guess the learnings from that is just we've experienced the Jubilee Cup now, most of the boys, and we're looking to run it back next year. So yeah, it should be good.
Despite the loss of the Jubilee Cup, the scenes at the club afterwards were pretty impressive. Tell us about being back at the club after the game.
Oh yeah, it was unreal. Like I said, the community they always back us win or lose, and yeah, it really showed that Saturday night. Yeah, it was a big one. It was a big night for the boys. Yeah.
What were some of the keys to the success of Parramatta this season?
I think we had a good leadership group. We had a lot of talent and also just a lot of variety, I guess you could say. Like obviously we had a few new players this year, but we all bring something a bit different to the team, and I think that's what kind of pushed us over the edge to have a good year this year.
What was the one game in 2023 for Parramatta-Plimmerton where you felt the team came alive and played its best footy?
Best footy. I'd probably say maybe around the earlier rounds. Our first game against Tower was a pretty special match, I think, for the boys. It was, I think, the first time that Paraplim had beaten Tower. And, yeah, I think we just kind of came alive in that game. I think in the first 5 or 10 minutes, we scored like 3 tries off backline strikes. So I guess, like, I think that game was a big eye-opener for what we could actually do in the Swindell comp and how far we could really go.
Now, when the team gets on a roll, there's a lot of emotion, a lot of excitement.
Yeah.
In the Petone game, where you guys were on fire, you decided to break out the dance moves, and it got caught on the live stream. Tell us about that.
Oh, yeah. Not sure about that. I think it was mainly the boys on the sideline egging me on, but I think I was just having a good time, As you said, it was a pretty good game, and yeah, I'm pretty passionate about the game as well. So I guess it kind of just came out a bit. But yeah.
And who are some of the other key influences at the Parramatta Club? Maybe whether it's be players in the team or people that operate at the club.
I'd probably say definitely our management group, G, Matt, Fraser, Tane, and Frank. Yeah, they were a big push for us. Every training we had, they'd always push us to be better, and also always try to keep us humble as well. So, yeah, I think they were a big part of our success this year.
Now, what was the reason behind your move from Orange Rongotai to Parramatta Plimmerton in season 2023?
So pretty much I had always lived out these ways. I guess it was a bit of a mish for me to be traveling me out for those couple of years that I was there. But yeah, it was just a bit more closer to home. I thought I'd give it a change this year, see how I go. But yeah, now I'll always have love for the club at Warriors. You know, have some of my best mates there and played some of my best footy there as well. So yeah, it was just a bit more convenient for me at the time.
Well, considering the cost of petrol, that's another reason why too, isn't it? So now, but
Yeah,
your time there at
definitely.
Orange Rongotai, 2020 to 22, how was your time there? And talking to Dom Ropeti last Wednesday and Penelli Puasa, there's a big element at the club which is about family. Tell us about your time there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, as I said, yeah, I'll always have love for the club Warriors, and as I said, I made my closest mates there. I'd say that I'm still close with to this day. And yeah, I would say that it is a family-oriented club. You know, all the boys are close. We all get amongst it, and yeah, just very tight-knit group. And yeah, I played some of my favorite footy there, so I really enjoyed playing at Warriors.
One of your surnames is Nonu. You are the nephew of All Black Centurion Ma Nonu. What have you learnt from Ma'a, and what have you learnt from him that you've taken into your game?
Yeah, I think the most important thing that he's always told me is to stay humble. I mean, I don't really see him that much because he's always overseas traveling and playing overseas. But yeah, I usually try to get a run in with him every time that he comes back over. He kind of uses me as his tackle bag most of the time, but no, it's all good. I think it's yeah, I think it's helping my game as well. So yeah,
It's pretty cool to still see him play, particularly over in America. So I believe he's 40 now, and they just missed out on the Major League Rugby final. So he seems to be enjoying his footy still at his tender age of 40.
I know. Yeah, not sure when he's going to hang the boots up, but it doesn't look like it's going to be too soon.
He might still turn out for Orange one day.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, wouldn't be surprised there.
Now, you're a product of Scots College out there in Strathmore. How was your time there at Scots?
Oh, yeah, it was great. In terms of the rugby aspect, I learned so much there. The coaching group, how professional it is there, you could say. Nah, yeah, it was great. Yeah, I think it had a big influence on where my rugby is today. So, yeah.
First 15 rugby there at Scots. You had a period there of pretty strong dominance in Wellington Club Rugby. What were some of the successes during your time in the first 15?
My last year we won the Wellington Premiership, which was it was a great memory of mine. You know, I think that was my first time at Scots that we had won it. So yeah, that was a big moment. First 15 rugby. Making the New Zealand secondary schools was also a big moment in my career. I think that was like the first time I had kind of looked at rugby as a gateway sort of thing. So yeah, no, I loved it.
That 2019 final, you're up against a lot of players that you're playing with in the Lions now. Tell us about that final, because you, in particular, one of your midfield partners in the Lions team, you actually played against that day.
Yeah, Riley.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. But yeah, a long time ago. But yeah, it was good. I think like that was probably one of the biggest crowds I've played against thus far. Probably until this year. But yeah, it was unreal. I don't think you can really beat school footy with all the boys there from school. yeah, great atmosphere. But yeah, a lot of talent in both teams that year.
Now, a few weeks after that, you were back at Jerry Collins Stadium for the Hurricanes First 15 final against Parramatta North Boys High School.
Yeah,
The first half, you guys were
yeah,
completely dominant, and then all of a
yeah,
sudden,
yeah.
this guy called Ruben Love took over the game.
Oh, yeah,
Tell us about that
yeah.
game in particular, Ruben Love.
Yeah, so I actually broke my wrist that game, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, we came out firing, and I think the second half, yeah, Rubes, he just kicked us off the parquet, just completely took over. Yeah, he doesn't stop talking about it till this day, actually. So yeah, I'll always remember that one. Thanks.
And have you been following the Scots First 15 this year? They seem to be going pretty well.
Yeah, definitely. I always try kind of keep in touch with the school, see how they're going every year. But yeah, especially this year, they're looking pretty informed. So yeah, they have to watch out for the final, hopefully.
Yeah, well, if all goes to plan, it might actually be against their rival Silverstream. But they've got a pretty challenging one against Wellington College, so that could be quite an interesting game, that one. Now, you mentioned New Zealand Secondary School Boys 2019. Tell us about your time in there, and did you get to play against Australia?
Yeah, it was unreal. I think I didn't actually get to play against Australia. I think I played maybe one game, but it was a main experience. The amount of talent that was in that team, and all the boys that they've cracked it. Yeah, no, it was a special team, and made a lot of lifelong friends on that campaign. So, no, yeah, it was really good.
2020 started off really well for you. You were part of the Hurricanes under-20s in their campaign in February, and you had a narrow loss to the Blues up there in Napier. Tell us about that game, because there's a number of you in both teams now that are playing pretty high levels of footy.
Yeah, Napier. Yeah, no, I remember. No, it was a pretty rushed camp, you could say. I think we had only come together that week, the Hurricane, the 20s team. So, but now we actually had a pretty good game. I think we just narrowly lost. So, but then again, both teams, yeah, a lot of talent in both teams. So, yeah, it was unreal.
You're a New Zealand under-20s trialist. How unfortunate that program got restricted.
Yeah, that's right. 2020. Yeah, so we went into camp. We all had a pretty good camp, I'd say. And I think we were supposed to. There was another camp after that we were picked for, but I don't think it ended up happening due to COVID. So there were a lot of pretty good players that missed out on making that 20s team.
Now, you mostly play in the midfield. Is that your preferred position? And if so, why?
Yeah, I'd say, yeah, the midfield is probably where I'd want to play. I guess I've always just played there growing up. I've kind of been mixing and matching between there and wing. But, yeah, I definitely prefer midfield. Just the ball carries, a bit more action. Yeah, love the contact too. So, no, yeah, that's probably my preferred position.
The Wellington Lions this season, well, they're the defending Ranfurly Shield champions. How important is it going to be to keep the Shield in the capital city for another season? And what is the challenges of being the Shield holders?
Yeah, it is very important. You know, I think when we first came in for that first campaign, for the first challenge against Horowhenua, yeah, a lot of the boys spoke real dearly about it and wanting to hold on to it. And I think it kind of puts a target on our backs as well, especially coming into home games. Like, yeah, obviously all teams want the Ranfurly Shield, so it's probably up to us to defend it, and hopefully we do.
The Lions kick off their campaign this Saturday against Manawatu at Central Energy Trust Arena in Palmerston North. How is the team looking in the heading into this game for the Lions? How are they looking? And in particular, who do you have to watch out for in the Manawatu Turbos side, considering that last year they didn't win a game in 2022?
Yeah, I think the boys, yeah, it's round one. The boys are geared up, ready to go this weekend. Bit of a wake-up call from from last week. So I think we've sussed our combinations, and yeah, we're looking pretty good for this week. In terms of talent of Manawatu, probably the key players we're looking out for is Braden Yossi. Obviously, his big ball carries off the scrum, strong carrier. Yeah, definitely one of their key players, and also Brett Cameron, first five. Yeah, he's an unreal player and a lot of vision. Sees everything.
Yeah, Brandon Yossi, he had a great season for the Hurricanes, particularly that game against the Crusaders. And definitely he's going to be one to watch out for, particularly off the back of the scrum as well. He's going to be really strong for them this season.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's finish off this question here for you, Ethan. You're coming up to representative season now, starting now. What else is left to achieve for Ethan Webster-Nonu?
I guess just taking it one step at a time, you could say. Yeah, hopefully see how my NPC season goes, and hopefully try to crack higher honours. And yeah, I'd say that's the goal. That's the dream.
Ethan, it's been fantastic having you on the Huddy Hui. All the best with the Wellington Lions for the NPC this season. Well done on a fantastic year of Parramatta Plimmerton. You couldn't quite get the big trophy home, but the club can be proud, and hopefully we'll see you back out there at Ngāti Toa Domain with all your dance moves in season 2024.
Cheers. Cheers. Thank you. I'll see you there.
That is Ethan Webster-Nonu, and what a season he has had in Parramatta Plimmerton. An excellent club indeed, and great honour for him as well to be part of the Wellington Lions squad for the NPC. And speaking of which, we mentioned that just before the Lions kick off their campaign against the Manawatu Turbos out there at Central Energy Trust Arena in Palmerston North, 7:05 p.m. And they also play for the Coronation Cup as well. So, and that carries a lot of history, that trophy. And of course, they away to Otago in round 2 next weekend. And the Lions' first home game and first Shield defence is against the Southland Stags on Saturday the 19th of August at the Hut Rec, 2:05 p.m. So that will be an incredible game out there. Also the fact that Sky Stadium, well, what's called Wellington Regional Stadium at the moment, is out of action due to the FIFA Women's World Cup. So, but they will be back there for at least 3 other home games in the NPC. Now this weekend, it's a big weekend of First 15 rugby. It's the semi-finals of the College Sport Wellington First 15 Premiership. The top 4 have been found, and Hutt International Boys School have created history. For the first time ever, they have made the top 4. They did lose narrowly to St. Pat's Town late in the match last week, but they picked up a bonus point that knocked Town out, and so they make the semi-finals for the first time. Unfortunately, they've got to play the very powerful Scots College out at Scots College, and when they last played each other, the score there was 65-21 to Scots. But anything can happen in semi-finals action, so no doubt Scots go in as the heavy favourites, but if Hibs, if they're showing, they can be giant killers in season 2023. The other semi-final, which is the one we're covering on Huddy Sports this Saturday, is Stream versus Wellington College. Wellington College, of course, snuck in courtesy of bonus points, beating Tawa, and also the fact that Rongotai beat Wairarapa College as well. So Wellington College plays Silverstream. That's 2 versus 3. Last time these two played each other was on traditional day in middle June, and Silverstream won that day 32 points to 19, and a mud-soaked Wellington College #1. So Wellington College, of course, on a bit of a high at the moment. Of course, after that game against Silverstream they lost, they ended up losing to St. Bernard's 14-7, and then of course they went on to win the quad tournament, beating Whanganui Collegiate in the final. So they're really on fire, Wellington College, and Silverstream will have to be on their A game on Saturday. So both those semi-finals kick off at 12:30 p.m, and we'll start our coverage of the Stream versus Wellington College semi-final at 12:15. And also noting as well the fact that we also have an All Black Test match on this Saturday in Dunedin, and that kicks off at 2:35 p.m, and they're playing the Wallabies, hence why First 15 kicks off at 12:30 this weekend. Also, under 85 footy and reserve grade footy are still happening in the capital city, so still another month of club footy to go, and still plenty more episodes of the Huddy Hui to come. And we'll be back next Wednesday, the 9th of August, for episode 96. So keep an eye out for that, and we'll announce who our guest is closer to the time. Many thanks to our guest, Ethan Webster-Nonu, coming on the Hui tonight. We'll see you all next week, and also for our broadcast on Saturday. I'm Brad Hudson. Ciao for now.